Hello, this is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess and Bridget's Grove, and I wanted to make a little video for you today about the resources that I'm planning to use for Goddess Magic in 2024. I posted a picture of my book stack a couple of weeks ago and people asked for a video instead, so I decided to make one really quickly. These are the resources that I'm planning to use on an ongoing basis for both personal practice and for community practice with our Goddess Magic community on Patreon. That's patreon.com/goddessmagic. So some of the core resources are, of course, Womanrunes, which is one of my longest term and most powerful magical tools. And so I use Womanrunes for daily draws for myself personally, and then for the Goddess Magic community for our weekly divination ritual video. Then I'm going to be using the Daily Practice Companion Deck, which is another amazing resource, if I do say so myself. This one can be mixed and matched into simple daily rituals. I use this on a daily basis personally, as well as with our weekly divination video. Then I'm going to be using 365 Days of Goddess for a daily reading. It has a reading for every day of the year, and I use this both for personal practice and also for in-person circles. So if I have an in-person circle, we start with whatever the day is that we're on, we will start with that day. If I do virtual circles, we will start with that day. If I do interviews or podcast interviews and they ask me for a reading, I will read based on that day. So this is a really wonderful tool to have at your fingertips for personal practice, but also if you need a reading for a group occasion that usually has something that speaks to that occasion. Then I will also be using my Story Goddess Oracle deck. Oops, my goddess is zooming around to join me. The Story Goddess Oracle deck. The Story Goddess Oracle deck was a 2023 patron benefit for our members of our Goddess Magic Patreon community. And we're developing the deck into a color deck event for eventual publication. Just a second, so more like this. So eventual publication as a color deck. But in the meantime, we have all of the cards, all 52, yay, from last year's, it's still this year, but from 2023's effort, we have all those cards. So I will continue using these. I draw from these every day as a personal practice, but I also use them each week for community practice with our weekly divination video and then with other resources that I offer as well. I do a monthly Goddess, I'm going to have trouble with putting that away with one hand. I do a monthly Goddess Guidance Club packet, something like this. And so you will, if you missed out on the cards in 2023, you will still have access to a monthly thematic card packet like this. And then 2023 patrons have the deck from that year. And then this year, this is a side note, this year I'm working on developing, and for 2024, I'm working on a Earth Runes system. And so 2024 patrons will get that unfolding deck to use. Then I'm going to come back to this 12 Wild Swans book. This is one of my very favorite books on ritual, and it's by Starhawk, and I love it. I used it in depth, maybe 2016, something like that. And so you may have seen or listened to other things from me that quote from this book liberally. Look at all the dog ears. I know some people hate that. I find it a very useful way to come back to. So the number of dog ears indicates not my lack of respect for a book, but my tremendous enjoyment of it, and is the best system for me for coming back to the things I want to revisit. And I know to some people that it's like a sin, a great sin. To me, it is a sign of love. And so 12 Wild Swans, this is going to be the foundation for our ritual theory episodes, which is a monthly feature that I do on Patreon as well. So this will be part of our ritual theory episodes. I may or may not work through this with a small group in person. I have not decided that yet. So something I'm going to be using as a supplement I do weekly lives for our Goddess Magic patrons, and it's a community practice opportunity. Really fun. I really enjoy doing those weekly lives. It's a great way to connect with each other. And so this Hymns to Her was an ebook benefit from Womancraft Publishing. A while ago, I had it printed, and so I'm going to draw upon it for readings for our community practice. And then on a personal level, I'm using the Radicle Ritual Planner as my planner for this year. Radicle as in plant, piece of the plant, and also dual meaning of being radical, but it's spelled as in the piece of a plant as opposed to radical, like radical change. And so I'm going to be using the Radicle Ritual Planner from Mindy Choi. I'm one of her patrons on Patreon, and this is what I'm using as a personal planner this year. Then I will, of course, be using my 2024 Moon for personal journaling. I keep my Word of the Year journal in a Moon every year, and this year I'm planning to keep small personal notes in it as well. So this is going to double as my personal journal and as my Magical Moments journal, Word of the Year journal. And because normally I do my journaling in a different planner, there's not enough space in here or here, so I'm going to combine it into, we'll see how that goes. I may have to report back on that. I'm going to be using this Keys to the Open Gate primarily for journal prompts. It's got some really great little quotes on the side. I haven't used this book for a couple of years now, but you can see my dog ear system is in full swing in this one. But it has these nice little quotes on the side. So I'm planning to dip back into this one as needed for quotes and questions, journal prompts, and things like that. Then I'm going to be using this is my most recent book of poems, In the Temple of the Ordinary, Volume 2. And this one I'm going to be using for seasonal readings and poems and things to read during lives and things to read during circles and things like that. And then I'm really excited to be using this book again, Life's Companion by Christina Baldwin. Heads up if you get it that it is organized in a slightly really bizarre fashion where you only read the right-hand side and then the left-hand side has the prompts and the questions and things like that. Super strange for your brain. I wouldn't recommend writing a book like this. However, it is just rich with all of these really great, insightful journal questions, ideas, etc. So I'm going to be using this in personal practice for writing, but also with our Patreon community for journal prompts and exploring living your magic in the coming year. Speaking of exploring your magic in the coming year, I'm also going to be drawing from The Seasonal Soul, which is a really visually appealing book. I find it very visually appealing. The style and the wording is a little different than my usual personal preference, but it's got some really good insights. It has seasonal questions and things like this. So things like that as well. So this one will be definitely making an appearance in my Monday lives with our Patreon community, our community practices there, which, as I mentioned before, are very fulfilling and fun. And it will be making an appearance then also for personal practice and also perhaps during our monthly live circles. We do a monthly live circle on Zoom called Simple and Sacred, and that one is free to anyone who's on the 30 Days of Goddess mailing list, 30daysofgoddess.com to join that mailing list. That's free, and then replays are available to patrons. I'm definitely going to be using this Wild Wisdom Companion, again, both for Simple and Sacred and for our weekly, for the Facebook Lives as well. This is, again, really visually appealing and then has the bonus of having companion oracle cards that go with it, which I believe I have folded up in this awesome little altar cloth card case from Kelly Lincoln. So that has a series of cards that goes with it. And then I'm going to be drawing from, I have a lot of things. I'm going to be drawing from the Life Organizer, Jennifer Loudon. This is one of my favorite resources from her. I used this intensively probably at least 10 years ago, and it is time to come back to it. So this will be used for personal practice and for community practice. Love this one for journal questions, for exploring your life. I really like digging deep and doing a lot of contemplation and reflection and dialoguing with divinity, with my inner self, etc. And so this book is a great resource for that. So I'm excited to be digging back into that one. It's been a long time and it is time for it to come back. I'm going to do a short series based on Whole and Holy, the Goddess Devotional. And I'm envisioning this one as a short series of maybe like 4 Sacred Sundays. Stay tuned for details as that gets worked out. I'm envisioning that being a free community practice for everybody, using this book as a guide to developing devotional practices, daily practices for yourself. So that's not fully in form yet. It may evolve, it may be put on the back burner, but I can picture using this for a Sacred Sunday type of experience. I'm coming back to these Goddess Guidance Oracle cards because we are going to have the Goddess of the Month, the Goddess Guidance Club resources. And so I'm going to refer to several of my existing Goddess Oracle decks. So as well as my own Story Goddess Oracle, I'm going to be referring to several of these Goddess decks that I also have for resources. By the same token, I'm going to be referring sometimes to this Goddess Meditations book as well. So when we have, for example, when we have Bridget as our Goddess Guidance Club goddess in February, then I will see what this deck has to say about Bridget. I'll see what the Meditations book has to say about Bridget, and I will also see what this Goddess Oracle deck has to say. And not all the goddesses that we will be using necessarily are represented in these other resources, but if they are, I'm going to be drawing upon those as well. I will say I do have a caution about this deck because the author has renounced her Oracle card practice and has really kind of made some odd statements and has become kind of evangelical. So I feel a little, has been a favorite deck for a long time, but I do feel a little odd about it based on the author's later behavior. So I did want to mention that. This one is really great and has rituals and meditations and things like that included with it. So I'm super excited about pulling from those as well. Then I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using the Maya Toll's Illustrated Herbiary as well. More visual beauty here. But I'm planning to do a herb of the month to go with our Goddess Guidance Club, with our monthly practices, with 30 Days of Goddess. I'm planning to draw some inspiration from an herb of the month. This little cute little folder was made by Carmen from our Facebook group. This one was made by my friend Amy, who's an in-person friend. So I'm not sure, let's see. Get the cards out. This one comes with a deck of cards as well. So just a brief glance at those. So lots of beauty to explore in the coming year. And we're almost done, I promise. And I know this sounds like a lot of stuff. I like to have resources to draw from. This is from Amy as well. This is another goddess guidance type of deck that I got on clearance at Barnes & Noble. And so I'm going to experiment with it as well and see where we go. That's going to be basically for weekly divination videos, but also possibly for some community practice. That one, stay tuned on that one as well. I'm not sure if I'll actually use it. And then finally, I'm going to be drawing upon my own Goddess Magic 2023 poetry compilation. This was a patron perk. There's a poetry level of Patreon where you get a new poem audio, and a poem matching card for each week. And I compiled them into a year-end gift book that's a patron-only exclusive. And so I'm going to be continuing to dip back into these because they unfold on kind of a seasonal level. And I'm planning to be dipping back into this book as 2024 unfolds as well, for readings for our community practices, for Simple and Sacred, for other resources. So that is that. And then I'm also shaping kind of our weekly community practice lives with some of those poems. And ditto with my past compilation of Everyday Magic Weekly Wisdom from a past class that I did. I have that in book form. And so we're going to be drawing from that for discussion questions, journal prompts, and community practice in 2024 as well. So one of my goals when I speak about living your magic and allowing yourself to actually live your own magic, for me, part of what that means is using resources that I've already created and actually putting them into practice, living them into being, and sharing them with others. So if you're interested in joining me for all of this exploration and discovery, you are welcome to explore memberships options at patreon.com/goddessmagic. We do have lots of different membership levels available. The most basic membership level is the poetry patron level, where you get the new poem and the matching card every week. Then we have the Goddess Magic level, which is pretty much the core level. That is where you will get the Goddess Guidance Club and the Oracle cards, the new ones, the Earth Runes ones for 2024. And at the very basic level, you do get the weekly divination video. You get access to the community practice lives. And so all levels get access to those. And then the top level, which is the Magic Mail level, gets mailed color Story Goddess Oracle cards, as well as other little surprises that I come up with. and also a ritual theory episode at least once a month, as well as any outlines and audios from the in-person circles that I run. So it's an up close and personal look at practical priestessing in action and provides you with plenty of resources for your own work, either on a personal level or with a group. So that ritual theory level includes that. So those are all the options. We also have a free level that includes usually at least one post a month that is free. So please check us out at patreon.com/goddessmagic. And may you have a happy new year. May you live your magic. May you tap into desire. May you listen to your longing. May you remember that you are the site of your own liberation. Thanks so much for being here. Keep living your magic. Bye-bye.